Well, Anthony Albanese has said he's confident Australia will not suffer as Donald Trump is sworn in for his second term as president. Despite plans to impose new tariffs on imported goods, reports say President Trump has ensured the PM that the relationship with Australia will remain, quote, perfect.
For more, we're joined by journalists Joe Hildebrand and Suzanne Mostyn. Hello, team. Joe, we'll start with you. How confident are you that Australia will benefit from Trump America 2.0?
Extremely, extremely. In fact, you can put the house on it. So that line, I think, came from Anthony Albanese's first phone call with Donald Trump after he got elected. He goes, it's the perfect relationship. It's going to be perfect. And you kind of think, yeah, that sounds like something Trump would say. That actually sounds legit. It's beautiful. I would say probably the most perfect. I would say probably the greatest relationship ever. And so it sounds legit. But also, if you look at just the cold, hard numbers, firstly, Australia is nothing as a trading partner to the US. The US is our fourth biggest trading partner, but Australia is the United States' 21st biggest. We are behind Belgium. Right? Okay. So they're not worried about that. It's not even worth the paperwork for them to put tariffs on us. More to the point, though, we import more from the US than they import from us. So and this is what Albo's been saying, so, well, it's actually, you've got a trading surplus with us. If we put tariffs on stuff that comes from you, it actually technically hurts you more. Not that we would ever do that. So it's about, it's about almost double the amount that we import from them than we export to them. So if they whack tariffs on us and we whack the same amount on them, they would actually come out as net losers. But that doesn't matter anyway, because the most important relationship with the US is the strategic and military one, not economic.
You our import-export.
That's right.
Vanderlei. He's an importer and exporter.
Hey, Suze, what do you expect to see in the US and for us here in Australia over the next 4 years? There's going to be a lot going on.
Tiny question, lads.
Right.
How long have we got? 30 seconds?
You've got 30 seconds, 25 seconds.
No, I think buckle up. I mean, it's going to be a white-knuckle ride, isn't it? That was kind of like a man with a God complex talking very aggressively and saying he's going to wind back so many things. And even the vitriol against all the Democrats, all the former Democrat presidents that were sitting behind him. I mean, the gall of the man. It's going to be interesting. Amazing for journalism. But yeah, Joe's right. We are a minnow in terms of trade. And for Albo to believe that when Trump says we've got a perfect place in Australia, no problem. Perfection does not exist in an imperfect world. And what will Vice President Elon Musk have to say about, the ongoing Twitter war he's been having with Albo? It's going to be interesting, but kind of chilling.
Well, let's move on. According to new research, raising welfare benefits could result in unemployed Australians being less likely to look for a job. The study, based on Australians and New Zealanders living here during the pandemic, found that the Aussies were less motivated to find work than those who were unable to receive extra job seeker payments. Suze, what do we make of this? Are higher benefits working against Australians?
Well, they could be, and it's definitely a conversation that we need to have because, you need to have a really fine balance between the social welfare payment being an incentive to not dip into poverty, to not, be on the streets and to have a reasonable way of living. But you can't have it so high as it becomes a disincentive to finding a job. So it is a really hard balance to strike. The New Zealanders obviously during COVID couldn't get any help at all. And so the incentive for them was, well, starvation and not being able to pay my rent. But we don't want to go back to that, all or nothing. But that key figure, that's a tricky one to set.
Joe, advocates say we're pushing the jobless below the poverty line. Australia's unemployment remains low at 4%.
Tiny, yeah.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Suze right. It's the sweet spot. So, again, the amount of extra money that people were getting during COVID was sort of unprecedented and in a way was kind of the equivalent to a very, very, very low paying job. And so you do remove that incentive. But on the flip side, you do have an unemployment payment rate that is so incredibly low at the moment that even people like John Howard and Barnaby Joyce, and when they're sticking up for the unemployed, you should probably pay attention, have said it's actually driving people so far into poverty that they almost reach the point of sort of bottom out of sight. In other words, they can't even afford to do the basic things that make them job ready. So you're basically driving them into the ground and out of even the prospective employment market. So you've got to just, thread the needle.